November 10, 2015, a night meant for celebration. Two people in love, starting their future together. Their honeymoon suite in a luxury Toronto hotel was picture perfect. White rose petals led to the bed, champagne chilled in a silver bucket, and the city skyline shimmered under the moonlight. But beneath the beauty, something dark waited. Something no one saw coming. Sometime between midnight and dawn, the suite turned from a romantic escape into a crime scene. The groom, once dressed in a crisp white tuxedo, now lay motionless on the floor, his body soaked in blood. And standing over him, her hands trembling, her wedding dress stained deep red, was the bride. Sarah Johnson. Richard Carter. Just hours before, they had danced, toasted to forever, and kissed under a chandelier. But before the sun rose, Richard was dead, and Sarah was the only one in the room. The only witness. The only suspect. What could drive a woman, who had just vowed to love and cherish, to take a life before the night had even begun? At first, detectives had theories. A sudden fight? A moment of rage? Maybe alcohol was involved. But as they dug deeper, they found something far more sinister. A truth no one expected. A secret buried so deep that when it surfaced, it shocked an entire nation. And at the heart of it all, a single discovery Sarah made moments before Richard died. This is the story of a wedding that ended in blood and the truth that shattered everything. To those who knew them, Sarah and Richard had a perfect love story. A modern fairy tale, grand gestures, whispered promises, and a deep connection. Sarah, 29, was an event planner with a life of success and elegance. She was a perfectionist who had waited years for the right man, someone reliable, devoted, and loving. When she met Richard, she believed she had finally found him. Richard Carter, 34, was a real estate investor with quiet confidence. Intelligent, well-dressed, financially secure. He had a charm that drew people in. When he met Sarah at an art gallery in Toronto, he was captivated. Their chemistry was instant, their relationship a whirlwind. Within months, they were inseparable. Friends called them a perfect match, Sarah's strong, independent spirit balanced by Richard's steady, reassuring presence. But Richard had secrets. Unlike Sarah, who openly shared stories about her family, Richard was reserved. He rarely talked about his past. When asked about his childhood, he would smile, give a vague response, and change the subject. His closest friends had never met his family. He avoided talking about his hometown. If anyone pressed for details, he'd simply say, "I prefer looking forward, not back." At first, Sarah didn't question it. She was in love. And love, especially in the beginning, can make people ignore the signs. But looking back, there were clues, small, subtle things that didn't seem important at the time. Richard never felt at ease in conversations with other men. He avoided talking about past relationships. Though he was affectionate, he wasn't overly physical. When Sarah teased him about it, he'd smile and say, "I respect you too much for that." She found it sweet, even romantic. But Richard was hiding something. Sarah had been in relationships before. Some were good, some were painful. But none had felt as right as Richard. To her, he was everything she had wanted, attentive, kind, safe. Until the night she discovered the truth, Richard Carter's secret had been carefully guarded for decades. His parents had ensured that no one ever found out, shielding him from scrutiny. As a child, he endured countless surgeries, procedures meant to fix what nature had dictated. As a teenager, he withdrew, avoiding relationships at all costs, terrified of what would happen if someone got too close. As an adult, he constructed a flawless facade. He became the man everyone admired, the charming, successful, confident Richard Carter. But beneath the surface, fear gripped him. Fear of rejection. Fear of exposure. And then he met Sarah. Their relationship had been a whirlwind, intense, passionate, all-consuming. But when investigators dug deeper, a startling truth emerged. Richard had never been in a serious relationship before. Not once. His closest friends painted a picture of a man who had spent his life running from intimacy. One friend, Marcus Bennett, recalled a late-night conversation years prior. Richard always said love wasn't for him. That if someone ever knew the truth, they'd walk away. But with Sarah, something had changed. He loved her. I think he truly believed she would accept him, no matter what. He had been wrong. Sarah's best friend, Naomi, was questioned. She recounted the phone call from that night, Sarah sobbing, her words barely coherent. He lied to me. He lied to me. At first, Naomi had no idea what she meant. But when detectives revealed Richard's medical history, her reaction was telling. Oh my God, she didn't know. She really didn't know. The world split in two as news of the murder spread. Some saw Sarah as a woman betrayed, pushed to her breaking point by an unforgivable deception. Others saw Richard as the real victim, a man who had spent his life hiding, only to die because of it. The internet erupted. Was Sarah's rage justified? Did Richard deserve to die for keeping his secret? Or was this simply a tragedy, two people who never should have been together? One thing was certain. This case was just beginning. The murder of Richard Carter became an instant media sensation. Within hours of Sarah's arrest, the story had gone viral. Every news channel covered it. Every talk show debated it. The perfect wedding, a devastating revelation, a brutal killing. And at the center of it all, Sarah Johnson. Some saw her as a cold-blooded killer, a woman who lost control and slaughtered her husband in blind fury. Others saw her as a victim, a woman deceived, manipulated, and trapped in a nightmare. Legal analysts weighed in on television panels. This is unprecedented. We've seen crimes of passion before, but this is something else. Did Richard deserve to die? No. But do I understand why Sarah snapped? That's a different question. She was pushed past her breaking point. Does that justify murder? That's what the trial will determine. And so, as the trial date loomed, the world watched. Waiting. Sarah Johnson walked into the Ontario Superior Court on March 3, 2016. Gone was the radiant bride from her wedding day. In her place stood a defendant on trial for murder, dressed in a somber black suit, her hair pulled back, her expression unreadable. The courtroom was packed. Journalists. Legal experts. Family members from both sides. The air was thick with tension. The prosecution's argument was straightforward. Sarah acted with extreme violence. This wasn't self-defense. This wasn't an accident. This was murder. The defense fought back. Sarah was a woman betrayed. She had just discovered that the man she loved had been lying to her about something fundamental. Her actions weren't calculated. They were the result of overwhelming emotional distress. And the jury? They sat motionless, absorbing every word. Over the next 2 weeks, witness after witness took the stand. Naomi was among the first. She described Sarah's hysteria that night, the sheer panic in her voice. She wasn't making sense. She sounded broken. Mental health experts were called to explain the nature of crimes of passion. In moments of extreme emotional shock, the brain can enter a dissociative state. Rational thought vanishes. It's pure reaction. Sarah's lawyers leaned into this, arguing that she hadn't committed premeditated murder, she had snapped, her mind fracturing under the weight of Richard's deception. After 3 grueling weeks of testimony, the jury was sent to deliberate. For 4 long days, the country held its breath. Social media exploded with debates. If a man found out his wife had lied about something this huge, would he be in jail for reacting? The system is sexist. She killed him. End of story. I get why she was angry. But murder? That's not justice. Then, on March 29, 2016, the jury returned. The courtroom fell silent as the judge turned to the foreman. "We, the jury, find the defendant, Sarah Johnson, guilty of manslaughter. Not first-degree murder. Not even second-degree murder. Manslaughter." The judge called it a crime of passion. A moment of blind, uncontrollable fury. But he made one thing clear: a life had been taken, and there had to be consequences. Sarah's sentence, 8 years in prison. Eligible for parole in 5. The courtroom erupted. Some called it too lenient. Others believed justice had been served. Sarah was led away in handcuffs, cameras flashing. Her face blank. Emotionless, the love story that had begun with champagne and whispered vows had ended in blood and a prison sentence. Sarah Johnson began serving her time at Grand Valley Institution for Women, a medium-security prison in Ontario. For months, she refused all interview requests. She ignored the media circus that continued to swirl around her name. She remained silent. Until, 2 years later, she finally spoke. A journalist from a well-known true crime podcast managed to secure a rare prison interview with Sarah Johnson. In the audio recording, Sarah's voice is steady, controlled, yet carrying the weight of everything she had lost. "I didn't wake up that morning thinking I would kill him," she said. "I loved him, or at least, I thought I did." She paused. "But how do you love someone who was never honest with you?" Critics had claimed she should have just walked away, but Sarah pushed back. "People say I should have left," she admitted. "That I should have taken a deep breath and walked out the door. But that night, I wasn't thinking. I was in shock. I was humiliated. And I just snapped." The interviewer asked the question everyone wanted to know. Did she regret it? Sarah didn't hesitate. Every day. After serving 5 years, Sarah became eligible for parole. In 2021, she petitioned for early release, citing good behavior and deep remorse. Some believed she had paid her debt to society. Others argued she should never be free. But on March 10, 2022, 7 years after Richard's murder, Sarah Johnson walked out of prison. A free woman. Yet, even as she stepped into the world beyond the prison gates, the debate raged on. News panel discussion. "Let's be clear," one commentator said. "What Richard did was wrong. But lying about something doesn't mean you deserve to die." Another panelist interjected. "She had every right to be furious. But grabbing a knife? That's not anger. That's murder." A legal analyst weighed in. "The justice system got this one right. 8 years wasn't excessive, but it wasn't a slap on the wrist either." Social media was just as divided. Team Sarah, she was deceived. Anyone would lose control in that situation. Team Richard, no lie justifies murder. She should have just walked away. Neutral, this was a tragedy. 2 people caught in a storm neither of them could escape. And now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Sarah's actions were justified? Or was this an unforgivable crime? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love deep dive true crime cases, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you for joining us on this journey through a story of love, betrayal, and the tragic consequences of hidden secrets. As we've seen, the tale of Sarah and Richard challenges us to explore the complexities of human emotion and the devastating impact of deception. While some may view the events as a crime of passion, others see it as a cautionary tale about the dangers of living behind closed doors. We appreciate you taking the time to read and reflect on this narrative. Please remember that this content is created solely for learning and creative exploration. Your thoughts and feedback are invaluable, so feel free to share your perspectives and join the conversation. Thank you once again for reading, and we hope this story sparks further curiosity and discussion about the many facets of human behavior. Stay safe and keep learning. New true crime stories, every day. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe.